So it's the day after all those really fascinating observations and stuff that, like, we were connecting the experience with something that we were experiencing a lot in high school. And I'm finding it's still very challenging to use vocal vibrations. We tried chanting when we first woke up to get grounded because we could tell. We could tell we were dissociated. And we were like super out of breath. Like we couldn't, like the length of time that we could create a vocal vibration from one breath was so short. And we know our capacity, you know, like we could do it for quite a while, but this was like a very small fraction of our normal capacity. And it was like winding, like I felt completely exhausted, like I just ran a mile, kind of a feeling, like just totally physically drained. Even now speaking feels exhausting, like I feel like my heart's having a hard time supplying enough blood for all of the activities that are happening just by talking right now. I feel like I need to go lay down and just take a nap forever just from talking. And creating vocal vibrations feels very rough, very foreign. Like speaking isn't something I naturally do. The voice kind of feels, I mean, we're still recovering from being sick, but something on top of that, it feels hoarse. Like, that actually reminds me of a dissociative episode we described many, many moons ago, where it felt like my throat was closing. It's almost similar to that. Like, it feels like it's constricting. It feels like it's constricting, that's the word. It feels very difficult and laborious, and I'm feeling chest pains just trying to force myself to speak right now to create this video. So chest pains, feeling like my throat was closing, just feeling exhausted. Some disconnect between my visual self, like when I look in the camera, I do not consciously connect with the knowing that that is me, I am seeing, and the me that is speaking is who I am seeing. And when I look in the mirror, it feels like the me that I am inside is a different me than the me that I am seeing. Like, that's an explicit part, but I'm not an explicit person, is kind of the sensation. Like, that's cool, that's trippy. To see so many of me is so validating. Because there's the me in here, and then there's the me there, and then there's two me's on the camera that I'm seeing in the phone and in the mirror. So 2, 4, 6, there's 6 me's all together right now. And that feels much more accurate to the neurophysiology of my consciousness. Like in a profound way. Yeah, like I feel it in my body that this is who I am. That there's never been just one of me. But yeah, the me that's like thinking and feeling is different from the me that's speaking, and the me that's speaking is different from the me that is processing, like listening to the speech and seeing the self who is speaking. It all feels like it's separate, like it's not happening simultaneously within the same experience of my consciousness. It's happening in these separate aspects of consciousness, and my awareness shifts between them, and it feels very trippy and exhausting and confusing and disorienting and anxiety provoking and a little bit depressing, I suppose. It's just kind of a natural sensational phenomena of this overwhelming thing that is so real but doesn't line up with the reality of the external world, you know? And yeah, like even the side view versus a straightforward view, as I'm looking at the reflection of the phone in the mirror right there, it looks like two different people. The side view looks like, not looks like, but it feels like. It's not like I see it and I logically associate it. It's much more of an implicit sensational association. But the me straightforward looks older. And the me from the side view looks different. Not necessarily younger, but literally like a different person. Like, I would not associate this side view as being the same physical person as this one, through my unconscious, implicit, feelings-based associations through the neurophysiological applications of my consciousness. This person that I see, I would not connect that they look like this from a different viewpoint. My brain does not make that connection. This looks like a completely different person from this. Perspective of self is divided within its neurophysiological development of my consciousness. Literally looks like different people. You know, maybe I associate this one with the side view with high school, because a lot of my pictures were from a side angle, and potentially that's because I didn't connect with myself from a front viewpoint because of all the dissociation. It was always a side view, looking away, looking down, or half my face. It's just the natural way I preferred to take pictures, at least from what I can recall. But specifically, these don't look like the same person at all to me. Like 0%. It looks like two different people having a conversation to my mind. Yeah, and it's not because I'm crazy. It's because the neurophysiological applications of my consciousness developed through division to cope with traumatic stress. And the development of my neural pathways never made the natural connections, so they made their own unique connections. And all of this happens beyond awareness. So the experience that we are aware of is difficult to articulate, difficult to explain, difficult to validate, difficult to be present with, difficult to consciously explore, difficult to create space for, difficult to express to self or others, difficult to contemplate. But when we can take this perspective, when we can be present with all our aspects of self, the body can actually feel some relief, because we're being seen for the first time. Pardon that part of the mirror that's dirty. Two completely separate people I see. And neither of them are me. The me that's observing this inside is not either of those people that I'm seeing. My throat feels slightly less constricted, but it's still there. And my sense of self still feels completely divided within experience. The inside sensation, the me I see directly, and the me I perceive in my peripherals through this. Both the phone off my main peripherals and the reflection of the phone in the mirror off my core peripherals. Because there's like central vision, like straight ahead, and then there's like core peripherals, and then there's like extended peripherals or whatever. I want to give name to these different aspects of visual experience, because it's very important for expressing a lot of what we're going through. There seems to be an increased connection. That's fascinating. My vision seems to be changing. Yeah. This person, the reflection in the mirror of the phone of the person on this and right, this one, yeah, is blurry, where she wasn't blurry before. Yeah. It's not like the mirror location or anything. Oh, yeah, something's going on. Which eye is closed? My left one. See, I don't even have the direct awareness to know which eye is closed without using an outside resource to feel. So my left eye is closing, my right eye is not fully open, but it's not closed. And this is all happening unconsciously, and I can feel some kind of pressure in my head. I think I need to lay down.